Atletico Madrid have had an underrated transfer window so far. With the big signings of Alex Baena and David Hanko, as well as youngsters Thiago Almota and Gianni Cardozo, their future is looking bright and they could potentially challenge for a La Liga trophy in the coming years. So today I'm taking over as manager of Atletico Madrid, and with the help of their brand new signings, we're going to be taking them to a Champions League trophy. Let's get straight into the video. So here we are at Atletico Madrid. This is what the default starting squad looks like. It's a 4-4-2, a Simeone, a classic. And using their brand new transfers and some of our own, we're going to transform this team into champions of Europe, winning a UCL title. Let's get straight into it. So first off, for season 1, I'm going to recreate the transfers that have happened in real life. So first up, we transfer listed all the players that left the club, and we were ready to get into the business for season 1. So we first started off with the transfers, and as our first player out of the club, Riquelme was off to Spurs for 30 million. And I know the evaluations on these transfers aren't going to be accurate, but we need to raise some funds to bring in the signings that Atletico Madrid made. And our second departure out of the club was Angel Correa. He's headed to Frankfurt for 33 million. Followed by Rolando, he's off to PSG for just under 20 million. Samuel Lino was out to Leverkusen for 38 million. As well as DePaul is out of the club. I know he left on a free, but we needed to sell him to raise enough funds for our transfers. I don't think we would be able to do it without him, so we're actually going to be selling him for a profit. He's headed out of the club for 47.2 million. So that was majority of the transfers. All we had left was Saul leaving on a free to Flamengo, as well as Axel Witsel leaving without a club, and Azpilicueta without a club as well. So that means we have made all of the departures that Atletico Madrid have done in real life, so it's time to start buying some of their brand new players. And our budget is up to almost 250 million, which I'm pretty sure should be enough after my calculations I did before this. So let's get to buying some players. And we have recreated arguably their biggest transfer of the window. It is left mid Alex Baena. He was one of the best young talents in La Liga last season. The young left mid was one of Villarreal's best players last season, so he's a fantastic pickup and a great player for the future. We had to spend a lot on him, 72 million for Alex Baena. And next up on the list was their center back acquisition. Picking him up from Feyenoord, it is David Hanko. He's going to be a great center back in this back line. I think he's super underrated in real life, so I think he's going to do great at Atletico Madrid. We had to pay another pretty penny for him, 43 million, and he was from Crystal Palace for some reason. And next up on the list was American CDM Gianni Cardozo. Atletico picked him up for 24 million in real life, but we were able to get him for 40 million, a big sum of money. And next up, we were able to get Argentinian wonder kid and international Thiago Almota is going to be joining us from Lyon. In real life, they bought him from Botafogo for 21 million, but we picked him up from Lyon for 25 million. And we were also able to pick up the Spanish right back Atletico Madrid signed. Mark Pubel is also going to be joining us. And as you can see, the last player I need to sign is Matteo Ruggieri, but he's already transferred to Napoli in this save. And unfortunately, it says he is too important for this team and they're not willing to sell. So for him, I think I'm just going to have to wait for January to sign him, which shouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Hopefully they actually let me sign him. And if he becomes available later on during the window, I'll definitely make sure to show it. So this is what the team looks like with those new transfers in, outside of Ruggieri at left back. And it looks pretty solid. Hanko and Lenormand make a great defensive duo. And I think they did great to bring in a lot of youth talent. I'm not really sure where Thiago Almota is going to play in this team because he is a center attacking mid. He could definitely play as a right mid, but obviously he's not as good there as a center attacking mid. But I might convert him to a right mid to get some playing time this season. I'm not really sure. But But overall, I like this team. I like the use. Barrios is going to be great. Cardozo is going to be great. Banea is going to be an amazing talent for the future. And I'm not going to make any more signings for this team unless Ruggieri becomes available later on. I'm just going to let what Atletico Madrid did in real life stick, and we'll see how we do this season. And I have made it to deadline day. And unfortunately, Ruggieri still is unavailable to us, so we're just going to have to wait till January where he hopefully will be available, and if not, next season. But I do have a big plan for him, and I want him to be a part of this team, as he should be. He did get signed to Atletico Madrid, so he definitely should be in this video. But this is the Season 1 team. I'm going to make Cardozo a center mid and Thiago Almada a right mid to hopefully get them some more game time. But this is the overall team. Let's see how we do in Season 1. So jumping forward to January 1st, we are sitting in 4th place in La Liga. It is a very tight table, but it's a very interesting one. Villarreal and Rayo Vallecano is in 3rd place. Very interesting. Real Madrid is right behind us in 5th. So really anything can happen for the second half of the season. And luckily, after checking Matteo Ruggieri, we are able to sign him, so we are going to be able to get him after all. It just took us until January, but we're finally able to sign him. And there we have it. We've officially signed every player that Atletico Madrid did in real life. It took us a little bit, but we finally did it. Ruggieri is joining us from Napoli for 20 million. So Ruggieri is now into the starting 11, and that's a lot of the business I want to do. I might want to make a couple of loans on the season, but that is primarily all the business that I want to take care of. And we are making a couple of short-term loans for the rest of the season. Thomas Lemar is headed off to Wolves. Ilias Costas is off to Osasuna, as well as Spina out for the rest of the season, as well as someone that we brought in this season. Mark Pubel is off to Benfica for the rest of the season. And that was all the business for January. We did all that we needed to do, so the team is set for the rest of the season. And at the end of the Champions League phase, we ended up finishing in 6th place, which I'm very happy about for Season 1, meaning we're straight into the round of 16, and we don't even have to go through the playoffs. So in the round of 16, we're up against a very difficult opponent in Bayern Munich. And in the first leg of the round of 16, it was a 1-0 loss. Very unfortunate, putting us on the back end of the first leg. And here we are in the second leg of the round of 16. We need a victory here to keep us alive. And in the second leg, it was a 2-1 loss, meaning we were eliminated in the Champions League, 3-1 in aggregate, knocking us out in the competition for Season 1. Very unfortunate. But jumping forward to the end of the season in La Liga, we ended up finishing in 2nd place, only a single point away from the title. Barcelona ended up taking the La Liga title. We were so close to winning La Liga on our first season, so I'll definitely take that. It would have been nice to win it, but 2nd place, I'm very happy about that. And in the Copa de España, we were eliminated in the quarterfinals to Barcelona, who went on to win the competition. And Borussia Dortmund went on to win the Champions League title over Manchester City. And obviously, we were eliminated in the round of 16 to Bayern Munich. And having a look at some of the player stats, Julian Alvarez had 28 goals and 11 assists, and Antoine Griezmann had an even better campaign, 27 goals, 13 assists for him. Really good, even though he's aging and going down in rating. He had a great campaign for him. Simeone did well. Alex Baena had 9 goals and 14 assists, which is very solid. And look at his rating. He went up 4 over the course of the season. That's exactly what you love to see. And some of the other transfers, Hanko had a good season. He's up to an 84. Matteo Ruggieri, after only joining in January, went up 2 ratings as well. Thiago Almada, even though playing 19 games, he didn't get any goals and he only got a single assist, which is very unfortunate. He didn't have the greatest of campaigns. And Johnny Cardozo, he did go up 2 overall, so I'm happy about that. 22 games for him and 2 assists. It's alright, not too bad for him. So here we are in Season 2 with Atletico Madrid. This is how the team looks like. Julian Alvarez is up to an 89, and Alex Baena is up to an 86. Very nice. Also, Conor Gallagher had an amazing first season apparently, and he's up to an 86 as well. But before we can make any moves, there's a little bit of business that I need to take care of. So in real life, Atletico Madrid made the loans permanent of both Musa and Lenglet, but last season they were on loan with us, so we're going to be able to do that right now. We're going to be signing permanently Juan Musso, as well as bringing in the center back Lenglet. We weren't able to get him on a free in real life. We did have to pay 10 million for him, but he is joining us nonetheless. So after those 2 signings, our budget is still 168 million for the season that I have free reign over for this season. And looking at this team and the starting 11, there is one clear spot I want to upgrade, and it unfortunately is Antoine Griezmann. Even though he's one of the best players that we had last season, he is 34 years old. He's not going to get any younger, and I want to bring in another marquee striker to pair up with Alvarez. I think that would be a great addition. Besides that, maybe some depth pieces, but I'm mainly focused on a new striker for this season. But first we had some departures out of the club, the first of which was unfortunately Antoine Griezmann, a club legend. He's been amazing at his time at Atletico Madrid, but he's getting on in age and it's his time to leave. He's heading off to Barcelona again for 52 million, as well as Javi Gallen for 20 million to Dortmund. And next up on the list was a loan move. Mark Pubel is once again out of the club for the year, and that's followed by another loan out of the club. Costas is out on loan again to Brighton this time, and another departure out of the club. It is Koke. He's getting on in age as well, and I want to give more playing time to the core midfielders, and he was just soaking up game time last season, so it was his time to go. He's headed off to Napoli for 16.7 million. So after those moves, we're up to 263 million, which is way too much money, and I have absolutely no clue what to do with it. But first things first, we're going to look for a new striker. And we have found our big money move at the striker position. This player is going to be a great move for the future. He's already an established superstar at his previous club, 84 rated currently in this save. We're going to be signing Benjamin Sesko to partner up with Julian Alvarez up top. He's going to be a great player for the future. We got him from RB Leipzig for 80 million. Welcome to the club. So with Sesko now into the starting 11, some other players I want to bring in. Alex Baena is the only left mid on the roster, so I definitely want a backup there. As well as another left back, Ruggieri is the only left back left on the roster, so these 2 positions I want to get some backups for, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. And next up, we have brought in our new backup left midfielder. It is the Dutch player Somerville. We signed him from West Ham. He's going to be a nice backup on that left-hand side. We were able to snatch him up for just over 26 million. And so next up, we have a new left back to back up Ruggieri in that position. It is another Italian into the team. We got him from Fiorentina. Fabiano Perezzi is joining us for 16 million. And as another addition into the team, we wanted to bring in another center back, but I wanted a super young one that I could loan out and potentially grow. So we negotiated with Manchester City for their center back Kosanov. He's going to be joining us for 32 million. And we're going to be immediately adding him to the loan list to try and get some more game time. And we did find a loan for him. He's out to AC Milan for 12 months. And that was all the business for the window. We have reached deadline day. And despite having over 100 million in the budget, I like the team how it is, and we're going to rock with this season. Up top, we have Alvarez and Benjamin Sesko. The midfield is looking good with the wingers growing a lot. Cardozo and Barrios are going to have to fight for that spot next to Conor Gallagher, which should promote them getting higher overall, hopefully. Ruggieri is the lowest overall in the team, but I have faith in him that he can grow into a world-class player, or at least a serviceable left back. That's all we really need. But I like the team. I like what we're doing. I think we're all set for Season 2. Let's see how we're doing in January. So jumping forward to January 1st, we are sitting in 3rd place. We are behind Barcelona and Real Madrid, but it is only a 3-point gap from us to 1st place, so I'm not worried about it. This table could go anywhere in the second half of the season. If we turn some of those draws into wins, we'll be in a fantastic spot for the second half. Even though we have money, I really want to see some of these players that Atletico Madrid bought blossom, like Ruggieri and Cardozo, so I don't think I'm going to bring in any replacements for the starting 11. I might bring in another bench piece, but I'm not too sure. There might not be any business at all. And at the end of the Champions League phase, we finished in 12th, so a little bit of regression from last season, but it's not the worst. That does mean we need to go into the playoff round to qualify for the round of 16. And I decided I'm not going to make any business in January. We're going to let the team rock, see how they do the rest of the season. So the next thing's probably going to be back to the Champions League. And here we are in the Champions League round of 32, the playoff round. We have a decent opponent in Arsenal. They could very easily take us out. So this is going to be a very tough opponent. And in the first leg of the round of 32, it is a 1-0 loss to Arsenal, putting us down for the second leg. We really need to step it up. So here we are for the second leg of the playoff round against Arsenal. We need a win to keep our dream alive this season. And in the second leg, it is a 1-1 draw, meaning we are knocked out of the UCL, not even into the round of 16. Couldn't even get past the playoff round. I guess it just was not our year. And jumping forward to the end of the season, we ended up finishing in 3rd place behind Barcelona and Real Madrid. We were only 1 point behind Real Madrid, but Barcelona was a step ahead of both of us. We couldn't win the La Liga title for Season 2, but we do qualify for the Champions League for next season, so that's always important, but a disappointing La Liga campaign overall. And in the Copa de España, we were eliminated very early on in the round of 32. Not very good at all. And at the beginning of the season, we lost the Supercopa to Barcelona in penalties, missing out on that trophy as well. And Liverpool would go on to win the Champions League title over Leverkusen, giving them another Champions League trophy to their name. So unfortunately, another disappointing season. Let's hope that we can turn that around for Season 3. So here we are in Season 3. This is what the team looks like. It's growing quite nicely. Alvarez and Šeško are a very nice duo up top, and the midfield is coming along nicely. Simeone is an 86, Gallagher's up to an 88, and the new signing Alex Baina is up to an 88 as well. And Barrios, can't slack on him, he's an 85. And Cardozo is behind him. He's turned into a solid player as an 83. The back line, Llorente has gone up a lot more than I thought. He's an 86 overall. And our center backs, we have Hanko and Lenormand are both 85. Of course, Oblak is here and Ruggieri ending out the back line. And for the season, they've given us an absolutely insane budget, 263 million. I don't even know how I'm going to spend that, but we have to use some of that at least. That is an incredible amount. But I am thinking of maybe getting a center back because these two are quite older, and Jimenez is also an 85, but he's 31. And I know that we have Kozanov in the ranks, but he is only an 80, so I think I might loan him out so he could potentially partner up with someone that I bring in the future. And I might look to bring in a Marcus Llorente replacement because he is 31, so he's probably not going to go up any further past an 86, so it could be worth to bring in another player there. And we have our first departure of the window. Jimenez did get sold. He's out to Manchester United for just over 42 million. And that was followed by another huge departure out of the club. I had no idea I could get this much money for him. Marcus Llorente is unfortunately out of the club. We need someone younger that could push past that 86 overall. So he's off to Borussia Dortmund for 74 million. Insane. And as our first signing into the club, it is a brand new right back, someone a lot younger than Llorente. He is 6 years younger than Llorente, but we got him for practically the exact same price. So in my opinion, it was completely worth it. We're scooping up the Dutch right back from Arsenal, Jurrien Timber. He's going to be joining us for 77 million. And he was followed by another Dutchman into the club. We're filling that center back spot that we need another big center back into the club that could develop and push past into a elite center back. We headed to Tottenham Hotspurs, where we're going to be picking up their center back, Mickey van de Ven. He's going to be a great addition into the back line. We picked him up from Spurs for 85 million. So with those two now into the starting 11, the team looks brilliant. And for the starting 11, I'm not sure if I want to upgrade any of these players. And even after all that business, we still have 200 million in the budget. So I kind of feel obligated to spend it on another player, but I'm not really sure who at all. But there is still some business I want to take care of. I want to loan out a couple of these players as well, at least at the bare minimum. And we are also loaning out Mark Pubel once again. One more loan, and I think he's going to be a decent rotational player, but he's off to Sporting for the rest of the year. And we have another loan out of the club. Spina is off to Middlesbrough for 12 months as well. And one more loan out of the club. Kusanov is going to be going on loan once again. Hopefully he can turn into a starting level center back in the future. He's headed to West Ham for 12 months as well. And with that, we made it to the end of the transfer window. We're on deadline day. And even though we have 219 million in the budget, I just like this team too much, and I genuinely believe that this core could win the Champions League this season, or if not, next season without any changes whatsoever. But, you know, if something happens, I might make a move in January to push us over the edge, but I really like this team and I want this team to succeed. So we're going to hold on to the money, and this is what the team looks like that we're going into season 3 with. Let's see how we do in January. And jumping forward to January 1st, we're sitting on top of La Liga, first place, a whole 10 points ahead of Real Madrid. That's absolutely what we wanted to see. Real Vallecano's in 3rd, Barcelona in 4th, a weird little table, but we'll absolutely take that. 10 points clear going into January is absolutely fantastic. Maybe we could bring in a backup goalkeeper or something, but I really want this team to succeed. But if I make any moves in January, I'll definitely make sure to show it. And we do actually have a piece of business this January. We're bringing in another striker into the squad. Sorloth, who is our 3rd string striker, is 31 years old, and we're probably going to move on from him next season. So we might as well bring in his replacement now while we have guaranteed money. So we're going to be signing the Mexican striker Santiago Jimenez. We're picking him up from AC Milan. We were able to get him for 55.5 million. So Jimenez was our only piece of business in the January transfer window, so we're going to skip past deadline day. And having a look at the Champions League phase that just ended, we ended up finishing in 3rd place. I'll definitely take that, meaning we're through into the round of 16 automatically, meaning we don't even need to go through the playoffs, which we got knocked out of last year, which is absolutely brilliant. That is a great thing to see. And after accidentally skipping past the first leg, it was a 1-0 victory against Aston Villa. So here we are for the second leg of the round of 16 against Aston Villa. We are up 1-0. I hope I showed that. I know I skipped over it on accident, but it happens. So in the second leg, it is a 2-2 draw, meaning we are through 3-2 on aggregate above Aston Villa. So in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, we are up against Monaco, and Conor Gallagher has a red card, but hopefully that shouldn't be an issue. and in the first leg, it was a 3-0 victory. That's what you love to see. Somerville, Šeško, and another from Šeško. 3-0 victory. That's a great start for the first leg. Second leg against AS Monaco, there's really nothing to worry about unless they perform an absolute miracle. And in the second leg, it was a 2-1 loss, but we did go through 4-2 on aggregate, and we're into the semifinals. So in the semifinals of the UCL, we are up against fellow La Liga club Real Madrid. A Madrid derby in the UCL. This should be a great match. In the first leg, I accidentally started a simulation of it, so we're going to jump to result, and it was a 2-2 draw against Real Madrid in the first leg. And in the second leg against Real Madrid, we need a victory here to put us through to the UCL final. And in the second leg, it is a 1-0 victory, meaning we are through into the UCL final and a chance to complete our rebuild. Who was the goal scorer? It was Benjamin Šeško. He put us through to the UCL final. And in the Champions League final, we are up against PSG, a very good opponent. And looking at the La Liga table, we ended up winning La Liga, 86 points to our name, 3 points ahead of Real Madrid. We have won that trophy, putting us in a great position to win multiple trophies this season. That is absolutely fantastic. And in the Copa de España, we unfortunately went out in the final against Real Sociedad, missing out on a treble, but that's alright. And having a look at some of the player stats, Benjamin Šeško was our top goal scorer, 35 goals on the season, 9 assists. Julian Alvarez, 29 goals and 19 assists, even more impressive out of him. What a campaign for our strike partnership, absolutely amazing. And you can't go without mentioning Simeone on the right side, 20 goals from right mid and 8 assists, that's great. Alex Benea, 14 goals, 11 assists, absolutely fantastic. Even Hanko was getting on the score sheet. What a great season from the team. But before we get into the UCL final, let's show off the team a little bit. This is the final squad going into. It looks like Timber and Julian Alvarez are out with a red card. So Santiago Jimenez is going to have to come in, as well as Molina, but that should be fine. But this is the starting 11, and here are some of the bench players. Thiago Almada didn't really take off as he was a right mid, but that's all right. A lot of our players did. Hanko, Ruggieri, Benea, all did great. Not to mention Johnny Cardozo, who's been a great piece off the bench. 83 overall is very solid as well. So without further ado, let's get into the Champions League final. So it's time for the Champions League final. PSG always seem to assemble a good team in career mode. I see they have players like Gabriel. This is going to be a very tough matchup, but we also have a lot of studs on the roster. So I definitely think we're going to be able to compete, and I have no worry that this is going to be a great game. And enough of the intro, it's time for the kickoff in the Champions League final. And it didn't take long for the first goal of the match, thanks to Fabian Ruiz getting an extremely lucky bounce back. Kvaratskhelia was found in the box and hammered it home past Jan Oblak, putting PSG up 1-0 very early on in the Champions League final, putting us on the back foot. Just about the worst start we could have had to this game. And we almost got right back on the score sheet, but the ref decided this was somehow not a foul, and it continued 1-0. And PSG were continuing to put on the pressure, but Jan Oblak was there to make a great save. And in the 24th minute, Šeško was found through on goal, and he was one-on-one with the keeper. No way he would miss this, but unfortunately he hit the post, keeping us down in the match. And only 4 minutes later, another opportunity for Šeško, but this time he hit it wide, meaning he had blown 2 absolutely amazing opportunities for us. He really needs to get it together. So by the time halftime rolled around, we were unfortunately losing 1-0. Despite Benjamin Šeško having brilliant opportunities, he could not get on the score sheet, so we were down 1-0. But we came out flying. Only 2 minutes into the second half, Šeško was found through on goal once again, and he finally didn't miss for once. He curled it into the top right corner above Alisson, putting us 1-1 on the score sheet, tying it up against PSG. And shortly after going level, Šeško was found once again and he hammered it home, getting his second on the match. It probably should be more by now, but he's finally starting to put it away, putting us up 2-1 against PSG only 5 minutes into the second half. What a way to come out of the gate. But PSG would have their chances. Oblak was forced to make another great save against their strike. And both teams had opportunities for the rest of the game, including Fabian Ruiz missing this absolute easy chance for him, but luckily he missed just wide. As well of course, in the last kick of the game, Benjamin Šeško shot it wide right in front of net. But luckily, as the final whistle blew, we had won 2-1 against PSG. Atletico Madrid were Champions League winners. So celebration for Madrid, an interesting performance for Benjamin Šeško, but he did have 2 goals, so you can't get that mad at him. So Jan Oblak stepped up to lift the Champions League trophy. Atletico Madrid, champions of Europe. We have completed this rebuild. And I do genuinely think they could compete in LaLiga next season with these new transfers. I think they're really good. But anyways, if you're still watching this video, thank you so much. And if you want to check out some other videos, maybe the position change video I made, or even a retro rebuild, how about Liverpool in FIFA 14? That's a good video. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.